What's going on, brother? Today we're going to talk about how to build muscle quickly. And if you're new here, my name's Gino, and for the last 12 years of my life, I've worked as a men's fitness and personal development coach, helping hundreds of men just like you build their first 25 pounds of muscle. So let's jump into it today and talk about how to build muscle quickly. And building muscle quickly is important because if it takes too long, then we end up getting demoralized, right? We end up stopping our journey in fitness, and that's not what I want to happen for you today. So I'm going to teach you how to build muscle quickly. There's really three levers that we can pull here, okay? The first one is going to be a nutritional lever. The second one is going to be a training lever, or like a workout lever. And the last one is going to be for recovery. So let's jump into it today. Now, everybody knows you need to eat enough food. That's obvious, right? You want to grow bigger muscles, you need to eat more food, right? That should be common sense, okay? But what do we do with food outside of just eating more of it to help us build muscle fast? Well, we do something called peri-workout nutrition. Now, peri-workout nutrition is essentially using food as a tool to help you manipulate muscle-building hormones, okay? One of those hormones is called insulin, and we can manipulate this by using carbohydrates around our training. When we spike this hormone insulin around our training, it will actually help us build muscle faster, okay? And how do we go about doing that? Well, we eat carbohydrates, right? Specifically during your training too, right? And something that I use to, because obviously you can't eat carbs while you're working out, right? So one thing that I'll do is I'll use a carbohydrate powder when I'm working out. I'll put it in some water with some EAAs, which we'll talk about in a minute here. And the powder that I use is called highly branched cyclic dextrin. You can Google that, look it up, get yourself some. As long as you're not a diabetic, you're going to be more than welcome to use that, okay? So we use a carb powder with EAAs. EAAs are essential amino acids, okay? These are things that help you build proteins. Amino acids build proteins, and then proteins build muscles, okay? So that's the supplies needed to repair the muscle that you damage with your workout, okay? So when you have carbs and EAAs around your training, specifically even during your training, you will actually build muscle much more quickly than if you didn't. Up next is going to be doing isolation training. Because look, when you go inside the gym and you're doing random exercises and you're not really sure what sort of style of fitness to follow, well, you're going to want to follow isolation training because it's specifically designed to help you build muscle. I want you to think about an MMA fighter and a soccer player and a football player. All these people have different physiques and different goals and objectives, right? They all train differently. They're not going to train the same way, okay? So if you want to train to build muscle and not speed and power like some of these other athletes do, then you're going to want to do isolation training. So isolation training is best when you break it down in about a 4-day split. And that 4-day split that I like to use is chest and shoulders on Monday, Tuesday is back, Wednesday is rest day, Thursday's legs, and Friday is arms and abs. That is probably one of the best splits that you can do, especially if you're a beginner, for isolation training. So isolation training focuses on muscles, not movements, because it's very different if I take a weight and I just move it like this versus if I take a weight and I slowly squeeze it, okay? So isolation training helps us focus on muscles, not movements, okay? By focusing on that feeling instead of the finish, right? Like when I was doing that bicep curl, I'm not just trying to finish it, I'm trying to squeeze it. I'm trying to focus on the feeling of it. Okay, so using isolation training when you work out is going to help you build muscle much more quickly. And then lastly is going to be for recovery. We need to learn to pull and optimize on the recovery lever, okay? Because muscle is not built inside the gym. Muscle is built outside the gym when we're recovering, okay? The workout just damages the muscle. The recovery phase takes place when you're not working out, okay? A couple things you want to keep in mind. Absolutely is a must. You need to sleep at least 7 hours. I would prefer 8 to 9, okay? Now, if that's unrealistic to you, then go to bed sooner. Okay, because if you want to build muscle, then you need to make sure that you're sleeping, okay? That's when most of the recovery takes place because your body's not moving. It's very easy for it to recover when you're just sitting in a paralyzed state at night, okay? So you want to make sure you're sleeping at least 7 hours, preferably 8 or 9. You want to give yourself 72 hours to heal in between each body part that you train. And I don't mean, just you're training chest and then you got to wait 72 hours to train back. I'm saying if you train chest, then you need to wait 72 hours until you train chest again, which is about 3 days, okay? So you want to wait about 3 days before you train your chest again, okay? If you're training your chest, 2 days back to back, well, that's not good for muscle growth, okay? You're damaging a muscle that's already damaged. It hasn't fully recovered yet, okay? So 72-hour period of time to allow your muscles to recover. And lastly, for the recovery phase, what I want you to focus on is mitigating stress, right? Which means getting rid of stress. You can't be stressed out all the damn time, okay? Because when you're stressed, you actually stop muscle growth, okay? You trigger that fight or flight response, okay? Your body's in an excited state, okay? It's like you're still working out. If you're stressed, it's like your body thinks you're still working out, okay? And your body can't recover until it stops that phase, until you go into more of a recovery phase, okay? It's called parasympathetic phase, where you rest and recover. If you're stressed, you will not enter that state. So we want to learn to mitigate stress. Go for a walk outside, disconnect yourself from your devices, take a couple deep breaths, de-stress yourself in any way that you can. So if you want to build muscle quickly, then you're going to want to focus on peri-workout nutrition, use isolation training inside the gym, and then pull some of those recovery levers that I was talking about in this video. If you like this video and you want to see more like it, go ahead and hit the like button down below and consider subscribing to my YouTube channel.